Welcome to Chronicles and Legends. Please hit that subscribe and let us know where in the world are you tuning in from. Let's get started. Before the fires of hell ever licked the underbelly of heaven, before man first sinned, and before sin was even named, there were 7, not creatures, not monsters, but aspects of rebellion, manifestations of cosmic defiance, fallen not just from grace, but from the celestial order itself. These are the 7 princes of hell. But what if I told you the devil you fear isn't the most dangerous of them? The church teaches of one devil, but the old texts, those whispered in forbidden halls and scribed in blood-bound grimoires, speak of a divided kingdom, ruled not by chaos, but by hierarchy, a hell with its own court, its own order, 7 sovereigns, 7 sins, 7 faces of damnation. Each one mirrors something inside of us, and tonight we open the first of 7 gates. Lucifer, the light that fell. Lucifer. His name means light bringer, once the highest of angels, the morning star. He sang before the throne. He commanded legions of fire, but pride fractured him. He did not wish to destroy the heavens. He wished to replace them. Lucifer fell not because he hated God, but because he could no longer kneel. And for that, he became the embodiment of pride. You feel him in the mirror when you whisper, "I am enough." When you rebel against authority, not for evil, but for identity. Lucifer is not red-skinned, with horns. He is beautiful, tragic, eternal. He is the whisper that says, "Why should you bow?" And yet, pride, unchecked, consumes. For Lucifer's fall did not end in fire. It ended in a crown, a throne of flame, a kingdom below. He is the ruler of hell. But he is not alone. Leviathan, the envy that devours. Where Lucifer rose and fell in glory, Leviathan seethes in silence. In the oldest scriptures, Leviathan is the serpent of the deep, the dragon of envy, the devourer of peace. He does not want what others have. He wants to see others without it. Envy, in its purest form, does not crave, it corrupts. You know his voice. It coils in your thoughts when someone else wins. When they succeed and you burn, not with ambition, but with disgust. He is the bite behind jealousy, the sickness in admiration. And in some versions of Hell's Court, Leviathan is second only to Lucifer, for where pride builds, envy tears down. He is the serpent beneath every throne, but Leviathan is still not the most venomous prince, because some do not envy what others have. They hunger only to destroy it all. Satan, Beelzebub, the prince of wrath. Satan, Beelzebub, his names are many, his form is legion, but above all, he is wrath, the clenched fist, the scream in the storm, the righteous fury that becomes bloodlust. Where Lucifer is controlled and cold, Satan is explosive. He is the madness of vengeance, the purity of rage when reason burns. Have you ever struck a wall just to feel control return to your hands? Have you ever hated so fiercely it made you feel divine? That's him. In ancient texts, Satan was once an accuser, a prosecutor of souls. But in his descent, he stopped judging sin. He became it. 3 princes revealed. 4 remain. But this is not a list. This is a map. A descent. Not into fire, but into the psyche. Each prince rules more than a corner of hell. They rule a part of you. Lucifer, Leviathan, Satan, pride, envy, wrath, and next, the prince who rules not the battlefield, but your appetite when you hunger for more. Not just food, but pleasure, power, sensation. you will hear his name, and you may not want him to leave. Belphegor, the Prince of Sloth. You may think sloth is laziness, a failure to act, but that would be a mercy. Belphegor is far more dangerous than that. He is spiritual inertia, the prince of potential wasted. He was once an angel of discovery, a patron of invention, but when his light dimmed, he turned brilliance into apathy. Belphegor whispers not stop, but why bother? When you know what must be done, when you feel the need to rise, to speak, to change, and yet you remain still. That's him. He feeds not on failure, but on the death of ambition. And like moss on stone, his presence feels gentle until it suffocates everything. But if Belphegor is the grave of will, then what follows is the fire of appetite. Mammon, the Prince of Greed. Mammon is not a demon with claws. He is a mirror made of gold. The Prince of Greed does not scream. He seduces. You'll find him in the rise of empires, in the whisper of just one more, in systems built not to serve, but to consume. You see, Mammon does not want you to be rich. He wants you to want it forever. He thrives not in wealth itself, but in the void it cannot fill. Every empty purchase, every hoarded treasure, every resource drained and still not enough. That's Mammon's altar. And the worst part? He doesn't take, he lets you offer. From greed, we descend deeper, into flesh. Asmodeus, the Prince of Lust. Asmodeus, the flame that never cools. Lust, yes, but not just carnal. This is the fire of obsession, of possession. Asmodeus does not desire, he consumes, he comes as pleasure, and leaves as emptiness. He is not love, he is not passion, he is the distortion of them. When desire becomes domination, when beauty becomes addiction, when the soul becomes secondary to the flesh, you'll find him where craving overwhelms connection, where bodies are worshipped but spirits are broken. He is the most beautiful mask, and the most rotting underneath. Now 6 thrones are revealed, but one remains, and it is not rage, it is not lust, it is not pride, it is betrayal. Lucifuge Rofocale, the Prince of Deception. Not every prince roars. Some whisper from behind the veil. Lucifuge Rofocale is the silent sovereign, the one who does not rule by fire or fang, but by contracts, secrets, shadows. He is often mistaken for Lucifer. But where Lucifer rebelled openly, Lucifuge hides in plain sight. He is the master of the fine print, the god of the unspoken clause. In occult grimoires, he is the prime minister of hell, the one who governs what Lucifer inspires. He does not need your soul, only your compliance. And the most terrifying truth, you may have already agreed, 7 princes, each a reflection, each a temptation, each a part of the mirror we call the self. Pride, envy, wrath, sloth, greed, lust, deception. This is not myth, this is map, and hell is not always below. Sometimes, it's within. But what happens when these princes do not sit alone? What happens when they rise, not one by one, but together? The kingdoms of man. The princes have been named, their sins revealed, but hell is never content with isolation. What if I told you, they are not waiting in the depths below, they are already here, among us, within us, wearing our names. For hell is not a prison, it is an architecture, not built of fire, but of systems, not bound by chains but by choices, and its rulers, Lucifer, Leviathan, Satan, Belphegor, Mammon, Asmodeus, Lucifuge. They have not remained in the pit, they have risen, not as monsters, but as ideas, as powers. The Church of Pride. Lucifer ascends. Lucifer, the light-bringer, wears many crowns. In politics, in philosophy, even in faith, he appears not as a demon, but as an ideal, the one who says, "I know better. I am the truth. Bow or burn." He is in every unchecked ego that claims enlightenment while casting shadow. Lucifer is not the fallen. He is the risen idea of supremacy. And when pride speaks as gospel, his voice echoes in pulpits and podiums alike. The nations of envy, Leviathan in the waters. Storms swirling, serpents beneath the surface. Leviathan has no throne. He has an ocean. He moves through algorithms. He poisons feed after feed with comparison, rage, dissatisfaction. In nations, he is the voice that says, if we cannot have it, no one will. Leviathan thrives in the undercurrent of discontent, in the quiet war between neighbors and the loud one between countries. His church has no altar, only a mirror that always reflects what you lack. The empires of wrath, Satan's fire rises. Satan does not rage for justice. He rages for power. Every burning city, every screaming crowd, every purging purge. Yes, he began as the accuser, but now he is the executioner, and his knife is always clean, because it is always justified. He does not whisper, hurt them. He screams, they deserve it. The towers of sloth, Belphegor's silence. Belphegor's conquest is slow, a crown of rust, a throne of dust. He governs through delay, through distraction. Every great idea left in drafts. Every uprising silenced by a next time. He does not kill hope. He lets it expire. The temples of greed, Mammon's golden empire. Mammon is not just in banks. He is in dreams. He is the voice that says, you are what you earn. You are what you wear. You are what you take. He turns desire into worth, and worth into debt. You do not need to sell your soul to Mammon. You'll give it for free shipping. The theatres of lust, Asmodeus unveiled. Asmodeus does not seduce with pleasure. He seduces with emptiness. He wraps loneliness in silk. He dresses addiction as freedom. He sells control as connection. This is not just sex. This is obsession. This is the hunger to be wanted, not known. His altar is the algorithm. His prayer is the scroll. The governments of deceit. Lucifuge in the law. Lucifuge Rofocale is not the king. He is the one behind the king. He writes the clause you missed. He files the law that binds you. He signs the treaty that seals your fate. He does not scream. He smiles, and his crown is made of your signature. 7 princes, 7 systems, 7 masks. They do not need to tempt you. You already live with them. But what if they unify? What if the kingdom below is preparing to rise above, not as monsters, but as leaders, influencers, icons? The sins are no longer hidden. They are branded, marketed, worshipped, and hell is no longer beneath us. The age of man is ending. The age of the princes has begun. The ritual of reflection. Which prince rules you? You've seen them now, and that cannot be undone. The 7 princes are not waiting in hell. They've already found their way into our temples, our cities, our minds. They speak in credit cards and courtrooms. They whisper through desire and distraction. They do not knock, they invite. And the invitation was always inside you. Look closely. Do you feel Lucifer when you reject submission, not out of strength, but out of pride? Do you taste Leviathan when the success of others rots your joy? Has Satan ever crept into your clenched jaw, your blood-warm fury you call justice? When did Belphegor first lull you into silence, when you knew you should speak? When did Mammon first convince you that you were only worth what you owned? Did Asmodeus dress your loneliness in lust, then vanish when the thrill was gone? And Lucifuge, did he show up in the contract you didn't read, in the promise you didn't make, but somehow were still bound by? This is not a warning, it's a ritual. You were not just watching, you were participating. Because to understand these princes, to name them, to know them, is to summon them. They do not come for the wicked, they come for the aware, those who question, those who see, those who no longer believe the old stories were just stories. You don't need a sigil. You don't need a candle. You need only one thing: reflection. Which one spoke to you? Not which one scared you. Not which one disgusted you. Which one felt familiar? Write it. Name it. Confess it in the comments below. Because power begins at the moment of recognition. And no prince has power unless you make him real. This is your mirror. This is your threshold. This is your crown, or your chain. And if you're ready for what comes next, subscribe. The gates aren't done opening.